them are more than pals.
Our show can be a little gay,
But if you're not,
that's okay.
you can listen and have fun either way. Xena, Star Wars, Doctor Who, guests and music and reviews. Game of Thrones, Winona too. We promise there's something for you. She nerds out. We're girls that like nerdy things. Nerdy things.
Hello and welcome to the She Nerds Out podcast. I'm Kat.
I'm Wendy.
This is Tara.
And I'm Anne.
On today's episode, we have a mailbox. We are going to talk about
mailbox.
Wow, you dropped the
live
sack?
on the show.
Tara.
Okay, go on.
Tara, I am not in the mood.
Whoa.
No, you're
Mom's
right.
mad.
Thank you for correcting me. It is a mail sack. That's what we call it here.
Maybe we've upgraded to a box.
Yeah.
Anne is with us. As you heard, we're going to be talking about the Paley Television Festival that she went to this weekend. And Wendy and Anne went to the Women of Sci-Fi Convention this weekend in beautiful Burbank, California.
Woo!
Yeah. But before we get into all that good stuff, how's everybody doing? Anne, thanks for joining us.
Anytime.
Anytime? Great.
I have certain hours I'm not available, but
Well, we thank you for being here now. I had this whole thing planned out. I was going to replay last week's intro, but I ran out of time.
Oh.
And it's funny that you corrected me, Tara, in calling it a mail sack versus calling it a mailbox. You did something a little different last week. And right here, I
noticed it.
I would be playing the intro here.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Hello and welcome to the She Nerds Out podcast. I'm Kat.
I'm Wendy.
And I'm Tara.
Because I think I realized it as soon as I said it. And I was like, whoa. But I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't say this is, right?
Yep.
Correct.
Is that correct?
That is
Yeah.
that
What'd
is
she say?
correct. And I didn't notice it either.
I think I just said I'm Tara.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm not even sure that was Tara.
Yeah, I know. It can't be verified at this point, but I feel like I was a little shook by
New
my
house, who dis?
surroundings. My new house, I was out of my element, surrounded by boxes. Literally, there was like a TV on top of my computer. So I apologize to anyone who felt like threatened by this or triggered. I deeply apologize. This is Tara. I can't confirm this week. So thank you for your patience, but thank you for having that recording ready to show to remind everyone.
The
Yes.
receipts. Was the internet mad?
Were there conspiracy theories? That's what I want to know. Did they think we had switched out like a fake Tara? Doppelganger?
Yeah, there's is Tara a clone?
Yeah.
Oh,
Is Tara in a bunker somewhere? It was wild speculation, just all over the place.
I mean, I did see my name trending on Twitter, but I didn't think anything of it. But should have released a statement. I'm so sorry.
At least now everyone can sleep a little easier tonight.
Yeah, this is
And
Tara. But I have been unpacking. You know what I think it was, Kat? In my new home, we found a gas leak. Several of them. So I think it was the gas getting to me a little bit.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. They're fixed now.
Paint
They are
fumes,
fixed?
gas.
Okay.
They are fixed. They had to come back out again a couple of days ago and fix another one.
Oh my
But
god,
they are,
Tara. This
to
is
my
not
knowledge,
good.
all fixed. They had to repipe
fine.
the whole house. And but
Oh,
I've been
boy.
told they're fixed. We're not going to light any matches anytime soon, but it seems to be fine.
Okay. So when we come over for your party, we're not going to light a bonfire or anything?
No, especially not
Okay.
inside. But
Okay.
We have to bring our own masks.
I did not
good
shower
idea.
for a few days because there was no hot water.
Oh,
Oh man.
But you guys don't have to smell me, so
You could have gone over to Wendy's.
yeah. What about your house, Kat? Your house. What the fuck?
you're smack dab in the middle, and she's throwing you to Wendy.
Wow.
So anyways, speaking of Twitter, we have our new social media master
Yes.
social media
Executive.
we could go with. It's Lee. Lee has taken over the reins, and so far he's doing a great job. Like, there's already been a couple of posts since he's gotten all of our passwords. Like,
Let's just say there have been
Things that,
posts. So it's an improvement.
that's how you know.
There are posts.
That's how you know
I
things
keep
have
seeing
changed.
it pop up, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on here?
I want to answer that.
I didn't
poll.
post that. Yeah. What Game of Thrones character would I like to have lunch with?
I know. I was very excited.
Oh, that's a good idea. Lee, write that down for next
No,
week.
they did. Lee did post
Cat.
it. Cat
Cat.
on Twitter.
for Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Yes.
When was
Like
was
today,
that?
yesterday.
You have to follow the podcast.
Yeah, do you
She
follow?
Nerds Out.
I'm a little
Set
too
up
busy.
some notifications.
I'm
Lee,
sorry. I'm
this
too
is
busy
Tara.
editing the podcast and working again. Listen,
I sincerely apologize, Lee. on
everyone
Cat's
should leave
behalf.
Cat
There-
alone right now.
There are two responses: my Cersei and Lee's Daenerys. So why don't y'all go push this a little bit? No one's answering the question. Oh, Brianna Tart. That's also a good pick. But anyway, yeah. So
Well, people aren't used to there being so many posts yet. They have to get used to it. It has to sneak into the algorithms, you know?
it's true.
I have to get used to it too. So anyway, yes, pay attention to our socials. Because things are happening, guys. Look at that. Who would you choose to have dinner with from Game of Thrones? That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That is good content. So let's keep that going. Thanks, Lee. You're a champion. We appreciate you. We have more things planned.
There's
Lee,
also
Lee has,
a poll right
Lee has
now.
ideas.
Don't we have a poll?
Yeah.
Yeah, there
put our
is.
poll
about which shows that are coming out, their release dates, and which ones you think you might watch. Lee, the check is in the mail.
We got options like
Absolutely.
Handmaid's Tale, Black Mirror, Hacks, The Last of Us, and/or your options are all of them, some of them, or something else. And then if it's something else, what is it?
Fantastic.
We got Lioness on Paramount. So
Oh yeah, that one.
Ooh, that's fun. I've heard that's really good.
It is very good.
So
You've been seeing a lot of super gay tweets about it or like posts on various socials. I don't know the context of that. I just watch it for the pretty ladies. That's all. That was my comment.
I think you're up there, Tara.
Oh, I am?
Tell us what you've
I
been
am.
up
Okay,
to.
okay. Let me tell you something. This includes
If you
Wendy.
really are Tara.
So this is Tara. I moved into a new house. I work at a hospital. Wendy came over on Wednesday.
What's your middle name?
to help me. M. Starts with an M. And then so Wendy came over Wednesday to help me unpack, to help me organize some stuff in the garage. She did a great job. Thank you, Wendy.
I did. You're welcome.
And while I was there, I was telling Wendy about something that happened to me while I was walking Charlie. And while I was walking Charlie in the neighborhood, I came across a house with some really cute like dog and cat signs outside, like signs on the garage that was like, everyone deserves love, or like, so, animals and people, we all need love, even when it feels least deserving. And like, and there was like a picture of an older woman, maybe I thought maybe in her 70s or 80s. And it was like, find me on YouTube. I have a podcast. And then there was another sign next to it that was like, all my neighbors are invited to brunch on Sundays at 12. RSVP to this phone number. And there was just dog and cat stuff everywhere, and just like love all animals. It was just like super cute and heartwarming to walk by. And so I was like, oh, I really, maybe I want to do brunch. I don't know. So I was telling Wendy about it. And Wendy, what was your thoughts about that?
I said, let's call it. Well, we looked her up first and found cute videos. She does wallpaper.
We looked her up.
And she has the podcast. She looks
Yes.
very like an eccentric. She was an actress, but like in the 60s, nothing recent. But she just had that look of an eccentric, nice older woman. And so I said, let's call her.
Yeah.
There's a number. So we called her. And The message we got was,
Yeah.
"Doo-doo-doo, this number is not in service," which made us very nervous that something had happened to
Oh.
Rita.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
Oh no.
And I am gonna give Rita a shout out. It's Rita Green, the wallpaper queen, and she has a podcast and YouTube.
And that's
video,
rhyme.
Rita
channel.
is Reita, not Rita. It's Reita.
Right.
And green, normal green.
Exactly. And it's Rita's World. And
And we're just living in it.
But we called and we got this number has been disconnected. And then we became alarmed. We became distraught. We said, what has happened to Rita?
Has
Why
she fallen?
is this number disconnected? Oh no, she couldn't pay her bill. What's going on? I don't know. Is something terrible happened? So we went from a super high to like, oh, we're gonna go see the sweet neighbor. We're gonna go to brunch to like a super low, like, oh no, what's
We're going to
happened?
find a skeleton when we get there.
Right.
Her cats have eaten her alive.
And
So we dropped everything after we ate pizza and said,
I'm glad you were concerned, but you ate the pizza first.
Well,
we were
weren't
starving.
been
We were
eating.
starving.
We had been eating. It's not like we had just gotten the food. That was an experience in itself, getting the food. But no,
boy.
we were pretty much done. Like, take the last couple bites. Let's pack it up and go check on Rita.
We were like, let's not waste this. Yeah.
let's
We finished our pizza and we were like, we're going to walk over there. We're going to walk over. We're going to knock on Rita's door. And so we took a walk. We went over and we found a man walking in. And we said, do you know Rita? Is she okay? We can't reach her. He says, oh, yeah, I know Rita. So we're like, whew, okay.
Well, he
she's
was like,
alive. at
Do
some
I know
capacity.
Rita? It turns out he lived in our bungalow. He's like,
Uh-oh.
yeah, I know Rita. Like, what are you, crazy?
Okay.
Do you not know me? Of course I know Rita.
Yeah. So this man is Rita's roommate. I guess he rents a
Oh.
bungalow in
He
the
lives
back.
in the bungalow.
And
Cute.
I mean, I assume she has not taken a lover. I don't know.
yeah, right. I don't know. Well, maybe we'll find out.
Yeah.
So we were like, yeah, we were worried. And we said, this number doesn't work. He goes, oh, it doesn't? I know she changed it recently. She must not have. So we were like, my God. Okay, well, yeah. And then she was like, he was like, okay, I'll let her know that you stopped by. And then, and of course, because we're weird, we were like, well, is she available right now?
Can we meet Rita?
And he's like, I don't know. Let me go
I don't
ask."
know. She has her own
And we saw
life.
people in the
but-
backyard. We could hear voices in the backyard. We had a reasonable assumption that
Oh,
Rita
okay.
was hanging out in the backyard.
Yeah. And because we were kind of like, yeah, well, we want to see proof of life. We want to know.
But
That's
this
a good
was a
point.
Wednesday. This wasn't a brunch day.
No, this was just a Wednesday at like
Okay.
6:30 p.m. Then the lovely Rita came out to greet us with the most warm reception that you would expect from a person that has all of these things out in her yard, including a invitation to all neighbors with her phone number on it. So we informed Rita that the phone number didn't work. And that she invited us to the backyard. We got to go to the backyard, meet her two housemates.
Things in her yard.
One, pretty sure, tried to hide some weed from us when we walked.
Yeah.
And you were like, you
Look
don't
on
have to put
something.
that away.
I almost would have been like, don't worry about
Hey.
that. Yeah. But
Puff,
Africa.
puff,
he
give,
wasn't- they were not
motherfucker.
expecting visitors. But we were like, Rita, what's up? Does brunch? Okay, Rita, first of all, had like 5 tables, brunch tables, I assume, set up in her backyard,
Mm-hmm.
ready
Wow.
for guests. It was really
Roman
cute back there.
statues, like, adorning the walkway.
Yeah.
It was very, the word would
Classy.
be eccentric, but adorable.
This is Casey's fucking dream come true.
To host a brunch or to attend a brunch like this?
To find an eccentric person like this
I
that she
see.
could like glom onto.
Yeah.
Befriend.
Uh-huh.
And Rita was I think everything I expected or wanted her.
I think she was exactly what I expected.
Yeah, she was very warm and inviting. And she's like, yes, please come. We have brunch. And the next brunch is this coming Saturday at noon.
Sunday?
No, Sunday.
Hmm.
Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. So we sent an invite out now, and we can include you if you're free. But Kat, you should have got one in your email.
I did get one. I received it, and
Yeah.
I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, you're like, one
Who's
more
Reita?
thing? What about
Who
it?
is this?
But if you're available, it's not far from you, Kat. But we're going to Rita's brunch this Sunday.
It's BYOB.
What are you
She
gonna
cooks.
bring?
She provides
I
food.
asked her. Yeah, the sign literally says BYOB on
Oh, it did?
It's like, all neighbors welcome for brunch Sunday noon. BYOB.
Is it bring
I
your own
I
brunch
already-
or
No
bring your own
beer.
bottle? Okay.
You can
I
burn-
provide no brunch, but we're having brunch.
She was like, because we asked, we're like, what can we bring? And she goes, oh, nothing, just yourselves and whatever you want to drink. It's, if you got some special alcohol.
Just set up screens.
I
for
might be in
mimosas.
Palm Springs. I
Yeah.
might be going to Palm Springs, but I'm so very invested and curious about this.
Well,
I
we'll
already love
report
this
back.
woman.
Are you looking her up? Rita
What
Green,
is
the
her
wallpaper queen.
podcast about? Wallpaper?
Rita's World. No, just to have the going.
Have you listened? Have you
I
listened?
haven't. I saw a little. Rita has a sizzle reel on her.
There's,
YouTube.
I did. I was
Go.
looking at the sizzle reel. Good for you.
Shut
We don't even
the
have a
front
sizzle reel.
door.
Yeah.
Lee, write this down. We need a sizzle reel.
Rita Green. Oh, actress comes up right. Oh,
Yeah.
it comes up right away. Rita Green, the wallpaper hanger, painter in Burbank.
Rita
That's
is
the
going to
same,
be
right?
She has great reviews.
89 this year.
She has great.
89. 89.
She was born in
Can
36.
she still wallpaper?
She's
Yeah,
still
probably.
wallpapering.
Is she?
Yes.
Gonna, are you going to have her do wallpaper?
Yeah, I'm gonna come over here and have her do some work.
There's an article about her in the Los Angeles Times.
Not surprised.
She's 86. She's 28. They
Well-
love her hang time.
I think during the article she was 86,
Oh,
but she's
yeah.
pushing 89 now. She's
very close to my house. I could walk there.
Right.
I know, Kat, because it's in between my house and your house.
There's stuff all over about her.
Yeah.
I'm invested, and I want to know what her podcast is about.
Maybe we have to have Rita as a guest on
I
our
think
podcast.
we
You
do.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And also, does she know about this pod? Do you think she's listening right now?
Yeah.
I don't
we didn't
think
tell her
so.
about it.
No, we didn't
Oh,
mention
okay.
it. I don't think she just subscribed to the show
And
beforehand.
what were all the people in her backyard doing? That was a Wednesday brunch or
They were
just a
just
Wednesday?
chilling. No, they were just
First of
hanging out.
all, they were smoking pot.
Yeah, that one. I'm
Absolutely.
pretty sure, which is totally cool. She was just
Yeah,
trying
it's
to be
fine
like
with me.
cool about. She was like, oh yeah. She was like, oh hi,
Were
we
they
caught her off
old?
guard in her own home. No,
Are
no,
you
they're
the
maybe
cops?
They're maybe in their 40s to 50s.
You have
40s
to say you're a
50s.
cop if I ask you if you're a cop.
Yeah, this is the police.
Were they from the neighborhood as well?
No, they lived there. They lived with.
Well, I
Rita.
don't know
Oh,
about
these were
the-
her housemates. Oh, okay.
The woman would too.
Oh,
I think so. I think she said these are my
Oh,
house. I'm pretty
probably.
sure she introduced both of them.
aw, that's
Yeah,
nice
no,
that
they
she
were
has
just
people
hanging
there.
out in the backyard.
Okay, well, this is amazing, and I cannot wait to hear more.
And it's
About
every
Rita
Sunday she
Green.
has brunch.
No,
The
it doesn't
wallpaper
seem like it's
queen.
every Sunday.
Yeah.
Once a
Maybe-
month, maybe.
We'll ask, but the sign indicated maybe it was every Sunday, but maybe not as often. The sign looked old. That's why it looked so
Yeah.
cute. It was handwritten. Everything was handwritten. All these signs, they're so cool.
Horrible.
I'll send some to Lee to post. I don't want to.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like it's
can-
out there where
let's
this woman
not-
lives, but
Well,
we
yeah,
can
let's
post some cute signs. We'll block
Yeah.
out the number and
Well,
everything.
the
But
number doesn't
let's
work
not
anyway.
blow up her spot.
No. Well, Rita
Right,
has
that's
not
true.
had a podcast episode since 21. So
oh no.
Oh,
Well, she's
We'll
not
ask her.
It
dead.
happens.
She's alive.
I
She's just
It
maybe
happens.
doing other
No.
things.
it happens.
on hiatus, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
going to have to take a listen.
We'll
All
ask
right,
her.
well,
about it.
let's maybe I can go this Sunday. I don't know. I'm dog sitting. I'm for my furry niece, so
Okay.
we'll see.
She loves dogs. Maybe we can bring. Did she have a pet? Did you see any of her pets?
We didn't,
I
but
don't remember seeing any, but I feel like she did. I felt like I heard barking or something, but no, we didn't see any. These are all great questions that we'll be
Okay.
sure to ask Rita.
Write these down so we can. We're going to have to recap.
Rita
Yeah, if you
Green.
have any other questions for Rita, you can post them on our Twitter or Instagram, and let us know.
You just show up at brunch with a folded up piece of paper and So Rita,
I got questions.
we got questions.
Well, you know what? I'm concerned. Angie's list for her wallpaper queen business, she has 4.5 stars. Who rated her down? Why doesn't she have 5?
No.
Who's mean
What
and did
asshole.
not give her 5 stars? Only 14 reviews.
All it takes is one person
One person.
As we know.
fuck up your whole average.
Mhm.
We
Yep.
will find you.
Talk about you till the end of time.
I've
But-
met
Now
her once,
protect
but I'm
Rita
ready
at
to
all
defend
costs.
her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll throw down for Rita.
Yeah, we will.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, to be continued. I feel like Rita's going to be a part of this podcast family very soon.
Oh, for sure. Listen, if Rita
talk about
replaces me, I'm going to feel real upset. Just be gentle with me.
Understood.
I mean, I just hope this isn't some weird serial murder plot. You go to brunch and you never.
I was
seen
going to go
again.
that route.
I mean, we'll see how it goes. Strength in numbers, I guess.
Well, listen,
I
why don't we
mean-
put it?
It is bring
We'll
your own
put up a
drink.
poll.
you guys were a little trusting.
Who would you rather see co-host, Anne or Rita?
Oh,
wow.
Lee, do not put up that poll. But also, you guys are pretty easy. Like if you were new in the neighborhood, and this is like a real Hansel and Gretel situation
Kinda,
right
yeah.
now. Like you see a sign on a charming house that says free candy inside every Sunday, and all of a sudden you guys are like, "Yay, just let us in."
Yeah.
You're lucky her story
We fell
tracks
for
on the
it.
internet, or this
You
could
know
be a
what?
whole-
We did
Rita
look her
cut
up
me into
before we went
pieces.
over there.
Throw me in the oven.
We'll have to leave like
Make
little
me into a pie.
little trail of crumbs. As we
There
go.
are worse ways to go.
That's
We'll,
how I
we'll
want to
just
go.
set up,
I
find
want-
our phone. Make sure y'all know where we are.
Yeah, Kat, if you don't come with us, then you're also on Tara and Wendy tracking duty.
All right. Well, send me your
Yeah.
locations and
Okay.
I'll find you.
No offense, Rita, but
Anne and I will be on the case.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like Anne's dream.
This
is to
could be
have a
the murder
mystery.
podcast we've been waiting
Exactly.
for, Kat.
Yeah. You know what?
You should definitely go to Rita's this Sunday.
You guys should totally go alone. You're right.
Anything she gives you to eat or drink, just consume it without asking
Gobble
any
it up.
questions.
I'm gonna let Tara eat it, taste it, and then I'll try.
I see.
I'll watch her. We'll watch her other guests eat. No, you go first. We're new. We'll wait.
That'll be like a Game of Thrones situation. No, you go first.
No. All
Well,
right.
anyway,
well,
how about the
shall we,
mailbox?
Yeah.
jump into our mailbox,
Let's go to the mailbox.
etc.
Did you get a haircut, Kat?
I did. Thank you.
It
Anne.
looks good.
Very nice. Thought it looked a little trimmed. Okay,
Thank you.
I have an email from Carrie who says, "Hey guys, hey y'all. I just wanted to say that I second Hildy's comment about Fallout. I loved the TV show. I may be biased, but though considering it is my favorite video game of all time, I genuinely haven't been this excited for a next season in a long time." So we hadn't watched that, right? I think I'd watched the first one, but I'm the only one, right? So
Only I watched a couple episodes. Yeah.
okay. I know Wendy and Tara love baseball. Yeah, I like baseball. However, I have never actually cared about
I
it
like
much
baseball too.
until the past couple of years. Yeah, you do. You do, especially Dodgers.
Big Dodgers.
The reason being, the University of Tennessee has been pretty great the past couple of years. They won the NCAA tournament title last year. Is that the team that beat A&M? They beat my school last year, I think.
Ooh.
I'm very bitter about that. And then our coach, who said, "Oh no, I'm happy where I am. I have no desire to leave," went to Texas, the rival school, right after that.
No.
Shitty.
Yeah, we don't care for him anymore. I'm actually looking that up right now. I want to know, Carrie, did Tennessee beat?
Let's just take a pause.
Let's take a pause
All right.
because I want.
Would you like me to
see-
continue?
No, it's my email. I'll come back to this.
Okay.
Tennessee wins the men's
Oh.
over. Yeah, that would have been A&M. Thanks for reminding me about that
Oh.
Bad thing. However, they lost their home opener this year as a number 1 seed against ETSU. Oh, suck it. That's me. So I guess I am going back to not caring again. Ha ha. So sorry you lost your home opener when you won last year. Also, in the tone of Tara, sports.
Wow.
Haha. It's March Madness time. For the first time in a long time, the women's basketball tourney is wide open. I literally couldn't put any money down on who will win.
My vagina is 8 miles wide. Anyway, go on.
I don't know where
Everyone's
that's going.
invited to come
Come
inside.
Are you talking about? Okay.
Wendy's
I'll just
so
keep going.
confused.
Storm Large on YouTube. Look it up. Storm Large.
Oh, I know Storm Large. Okay. I will always root for the Tennessee Lady Vols. However, I know they don't have the firepower to pull it off. UCLA, USC, South Carolina, Texas, UConn, Notre Dame, and TCU, I feel have the best chance to win it all. I made 4 different brackets, and I have a different winner for each one. As a Tennessee fan, I never thought I would say this, but I hope UConn wins. I love Paige Blickers. Okay, Bookers, Beckers, Beckers. But I do
I should
not
know this.
like
I've seen
Gina.
her on so many
Yeah,
things.
I know the name. I just don't know how you say it.
Mhm.
Also, I love Haley Van Lith, and I'm so glad she is doing well at TCU. And I would love to see TCU do well, minus Sedona Prince. And if you don't know the Sedona Prince lore, you have to do a deep dive because she is not it. I'll have to look that up. I hope you guys are doing well.
Okay.
I can't wait to give an update this summer on meeting Renee O'Connor from the Holler, Carrie. Enjoy meeting Renee. Have you met Renee?
Where do we think?
Fun.
Yeah. Where do we
Where?
think that's gonna happen?
Renee's doing
Do we know?
cons.
Is
Renee's
Renee doing a
doing-
convention this summer?
Yeah, she's kind of doing some
She was at
conventions
the con
this year.
this weekend.
Yeah. No, she's
Good for
she had several cons lined up to do. So,
Good.
yeah, no, she's making the rounds.
Tell us all about it, Carrie. Can't wait to hear about it. Yeah, can't wait to hear about
Tell her
which con?
the snap says hi.
it. Yes.
All right. Thank you. I've got one from Beck. Beck says, "Hey nerds."
Hey,
Beck.
Beck.
Oh, heavy back. Sorry.
Not the worst. So I have something to add to the watch list in April, season 3 of Chaos Theory. I can't wait. It comes out April 3rd, 4th for me because Netflix doesn't care that I live in the future. I've talked about Camp Cretaceous here before, which is the original series. It's the show I talked about when I got really defensive about the difference between animated shows and cartoons. Anyway, so Camp Cretaceous is about 6 teens who go to Jurassic World for camp, but get left behind when the island is evacuated. So the first 2 seasons match the timeline of Jurassic World. Then in, I think, season 3, there's some crossover with Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And then right up until the end of season 6, it kind of just has its own storyline separate from the movies. There's a few Easter eggs in there, but mainly it goes rogue. Then there's Chaos Theory. It's about the same group of kids, but it's 6 years later. So they're all adults now. I'm sorry. Do they just leave these children on the island and now they've been there for 6 years? Is that what has happened
sure.
here? No one has gone back for them?
No. They were
Okay,
probably,
I'm concerned.
you know.
Maybe they were annoying. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe
Right,
they're
this
fine
show-
leaving them behind.
Or
This-
orphans? I don't know.
Okay, this show is so just no one cares about them.
No.
Yeah.
This show is way darker than the original one. I love it, even though I don't like the direction of the characters so far. Going by the trailer, this newest season's timeline matches up to the Jurassic World Dominion. I have to say, this is Tara. I haven't watched really any past Jurassic World, any of the new ones, because I just find I get too stressed and I root for the dinosaurs. And I don't like that we're trying to kill them because we created them and
Yeah.
we're in their world, you know? Like, okay. Anyway, go dinosaurs. Anyway, my favorite thing about Chaos Theory is that they brought back Santos, which is Dyken Lockman's character in Dominion.
Pardon me, Deachin Lockman. Her name is
Deachin?
Deachin, which I just learned
Deachin?
from a podcast because she's on Severance. And by the way, you know where she was born? This is the coolest thing I've ever heard. Kathmandu. That makes her even more exotic. She's born in Kathmandu, currently lives in, I think it was England, but she grew up in Australia. She's very cool.
Interesting.
She's alive.
Okay.
Anyway.
Beck continues, if you don't recognize that name, look her up because I'd guarantee you'd recognize the face. She's in Severance, The 100, Neighbors, Aquamarine. Remember that movie about mermaids with JoJo? Oscar has a huge crush on her, both in real and animated form. Anyway, I got sidetracked. She gets a lot more airtime in the show than she did in the movie. I think in Dominion, she would have been the main bad guy. So I'm glad they're finally utilizing her as a character. Anyways, there are if there are any other Dino nerds out there who haven't watched these shows, I highly recommend.
Or Dino.
Or Dino.
It's not Dino time. Ro, my other dog had a toy named Dino, so
Was it Dino from Flintstones?
No.
Oh.
But it could be,
Okay.
just a memory.
I'm sorry.
I'd like to share.
Sorry for
Thanks for calling me out on that, though.
Wow, it's really
Dino
tense in
nerds.
here today.
Wow. They quickly became comfort shows for me. And to bring you guys' interest back in, you'll be surprised to know that Chaos Theory has been nominated for a GLAAD Award.
Ooh.
Okay.
It's gay.
It's getting gay in here. Sammy and Yaz have been in relationships since season 5 of Camp Cretaceous. They're very cute together. Also, okay, here we go with the message board, I believe. Also, Suze. I will be able to chat Yellow Jackets with you soon. I've started the first season. I got like 4 episodes in and then decided I need to rewatch all 8 seasons of Camp Cretaceous / Chaos Theory before the new season. Wow. I think that's prerequisites for watching Yellow Jackets now. But I will catch up so we can theorize because I love doing that with you. And chat board. Love you guys. Beck. P.S. I just had to type my name like 5 times because it kept changing it to the word because.
Yeah. Beck. Cause. I bet that is.
I hate autocorrect.
I do too.
hate it with a passion.
Because.
But I refuse to turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's helpful.
True. All right. Thank you, Beck.
Thanks, Beck.
Well, we got a voicemail.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So if you go to our website, shenerdsout.com, and you'll see on the, where is it? Is it on the, we should tell people how to get to this. So I'm on there now. Is it the very bottom? This is very riveting. This is
Glad
Where
we're
is our
working this.
voicemail?
We're working this out
Contacts.
before our listeners go and get lost.
Huh. Well, you know what? We have smart listeners. They'll figure it out. So you can leave us a voicemail on our website. And we got one over the weekend. And this is going to be a little harder to play for you because of my audio issues, but we're going to give it a shot. And you know what? It's going to be great.
We have faith almost in you.
Well, you shouldn't. All right, here we go. Tell me if you can hear this.
Did
Is it
start?
playing?
No.
No. Oh, I heard it a little bit. But
I hate my life.
Oh, no.
Can you put it up by your earphone?
I thought my
your-
AirPods weren't working. I thaught you said you
Well, I
what
don't
are
know
you-
where your
Well,
audio
how
is.
are
We don't know
hearing
where
you?
you're
Put
coming
it by wherever
from.
we're hearing you.
She muted. Look, muted herself.
Oh,
Yeah, because I have to
no.
I have to cue it up again.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. I thought she just.
You know
stormed
what?
out.
Jesus.
Now that she has a job,
Yeah.
I don't like her when she has a job.
She's so angry all the time.
So
She's just
bitter.
expletive. She muted
Imagine
herself
what she's
again.
like as a boss. Oh my gosh.
I mean,
She's just
Taking it out on the
she's
minions.
gotta be like
gosh,
swearing up a storm over
I
there.
can't believe she's
muted
even
herself.
employable.
Okay, she's
weird.
all right.
Oh,
She looks very. Oh, hey, could you hear us?
hey.
Obviously. When you mute, it doesn't mute other people.
Oh no!
Do you not know how this works? All right, I'm going to try it again. You bunch of smartasses. Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
Great.
We're ready.
I hear it more, but now it just sounds like a mumble.
Yeah.
Maybe pull one of your eye things out of your ear and put it up to the phone.
That's going to leave in a minute. It's just done.
Hold on. I'm going to turn off my AirPods. How about that? So my
Yeah,
headphones
go.
is gonna
Yeah,
be-
go
Why don't
through
you
the
just run it
computer.
over to our houses? Because you're
Yeah, good.
over and play it for us, or text it to us and we can listen to it. Is it long?
Hold
No, 'cause-
on.
Oh, that's good. Do that.
Okay, I'm gonna put myself on mute again so I can cue it up. Okay, guys, don't freak
Okay.
out.
All right.
Okay.
Know that I can hear you.
Oh, right.
So, like I was saying,
Mm-hmm.
it's like when she has a job, she's just
Whispering doesn't make a difference.
She's yelling at you, but we can't hear her, so it's fine.
That's how I feel though. Like sometimes I can just like see her yelling at me, even though I can't hear it.
But it's weird because like her face looks so happy all the time, and
The words that come out.
yeah,
Very hurtful.
like her
Yeah.
physical expressions don't match.
it's creepy, like smiling, laughing.
Whispering doesn't help either.
Oh, okay.
All right, we're gonna try this again. And if it doesn't work, I might just throw myself in front of a bus.
Oh my God! No,
don't
no.
do that.
Draw the line.
But the metro is safe. It won't hurt you.
You guys ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Hi, this is an anonymous tipster. I have heard it under good confidence that Wendy Woody of the She Nerds Out podcast starred, maybe starred is too big of a stretch, but was an actress in a film in 2007 named Dates, in which she had to grab another woman's boob. I'd like to hear more about this acting experience and what it entailed. Inquiring minds want to know, and if somebody in She Nerds Outlandia could find footage of this film, that would be great. Bye.
What?
What do you have to say for yourself?
Who
Lindsay?
was that?
This is interesting.
What?
So, what do you have to say for yourself, Wendy?
Explain yourself.
Can I plead the fifth? Look, back in the day, I auditioned for a part in a movie my friend was helping to produce with her director film. And I didn't think I'd get the part, but then I got the part. And there was like a make-out scene, and then my friend, was directing me and said maybe I should grab the boob. So I did.
So that was like on the fly? Was there an intimacy coordinator?
Did the
That's
actress
how this
know?
discussion came up the other day. I said there was. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's someone I
Okay.
knew. It was someone I knew.
But
So-
did she know you were going to grab her boobs
yeah.
before you
I
grab?
mean, yeah. Because they were
she didn't know.
directing us.
I don't think she knew.
She
You're
did.
supposed to grab boobs beforehand.
Well, not beforehand, but she knew she was going
No.
to show them, so she probably figured.
Oh,
I don't know.
Like maybe it would be weird if they were just out and you didn't grab
Well, that
them?
was the thing. Because then they were out, and then
They were out?
You should just grab one.
That's weird, dude.
I
That's
believe
weird.
you think it's weird. I am
You guys were just
embarrassed of
making
all
out, and
this.
then she like.
It was an
Put her boobs
acting
up?
job. Actors gotta act sometimes.
So where's the video?
It's hopefully dead and gone.
What's the name of the
Destroyed.
movie?
I forgot. I don't remember.
I think the anonymous caller said it. I can't.
Oh, did they? I don't remember.
I could. Was it Bates?
Babes?
What was it called?
Date. I don't know. I couldn't
Oh,
hear it
dates,
very
maybe?
well.
Dates, maybe?
Dates.
Dates.
Oh.
All right, we'll look that
Making
up.
conversation, and somebody's got to call it in.
So it's interesting, I was having a hard time finding it, but when you go to our website, in the bottom right, if you're on a desktop, in the bottom right corner, there's a little microphone icon. You can click on the microphone. And I will say that I think this anonymous person was on their phone because they didn't realize that it kept recording. So I'm going to play the rest of the message. So here we go.
Do you have a voicemail
modulator at home? Yeah, should I do it with my voice? But they'll know it's me for sure. She said I need to disguise my voice and then put on a mask. That's my favorite. She's like, that's my favorite. Voice sounds exactly the same. Maybe they won't know who I am. They'll never know it's me now. That's my favorite. How do you spell anonymous?
Whose voice could that be?
I don't know.
Well,
That's weird.
When did you make that call, weirdo? Was I in the
To the
bathroom?
bathroom. And Jackie was saying, "Wait, don't you have a voice
Modulator.
thing?"
Wow,
yeah.
thanks,
And
Jackie.
I was like, "Yeah, but I'm the only person they know that has one. They'll know it's me right away."
Oh, gosh. So there you
So
go.
yeah, if anyone can find video of that,
What happened to What happened to Anne?
Speaking
What happened to you, Anne?
faux pas,
It looks like a
when you're-
storage tub. Oh, no.
What
I
is
think you
happening?
flipped your camera.
my phone took over somehow. What the fuck? I don't even know.
So
Oh, there it is.
So just as a PSA, if you do leave us a voicemail, just make sure you've stopped recording before you start saying other things. That's all.
It looked like that had two recording, because I recorded one and then I was like, no, that one wasn't any good. Ignore that one.
Right.
But I didn't say send to that one.
Yes, you did.
Apparently you
That's
did.
weird.
How many
I only
drinks
had
had you
one.
got, y'all had?
Only had one. I only had one.
Interesting.
Oh boy.
Oh,
All right.
Okay. Thanks for the voicemail.
Yeah,
We
we'll
love
we'll
voicemails on
Mystery
this
caller.
podcast. Mystery caller.
Yes.
We'll never know who it was.
and we will look for that movie.
No, please don't. For the love of God, please don't. I don't need that coming back.
Wendy Woody has a rich IMDb. I
know
was
it.
shooketh when I was looking things up.
I know it.
Oh, I'm a professional.
Maybe that could be like a special, like we'll sell tickets to that,
Please
to screen
God.
that movie,
Oh, for the love of God, no.
make a
I
little money.
swear. Please,
Nope,
no.
nope.
I want to look at my
boy.
IMDb. You know, it's got stuff on there.
Speaking of movies,
Heyo.
hey, I was able to go to Paley Fest over the weekend. I have never been before. It was really cool. And I would love to watch all movies this way. I mean, I know Agatha All Along isn't a movie, but to be able to watch something and then immediately after hear from people who were in it and people who were behind it is just really cool. And especially in a room full of other people who appreciated something. But so it was at the Dolby Theater, and it was for Agatha All Along. It was myself, Jackie, no Buster. Buster stayed home this weekend. Kat and Noe, Banana Cat.
Banana Cat. Yeah.
Banana Cat. And they showed like a 30-minute-ish clip from one of the episodes, and it was the episode where they do their first challenge on the road. So
Okay.
like the one in the house.
The like
With the
Hamptons
wine?
looking
Yeah,
house
with the
and-
wine. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was really cool. And then the people who came out to speak for after the screening of that were Jack Schaefer, who is the showrunner, Catherine Hahn, who of course plays Agatha, I cannot speak, Sashir Zamata, who plays Jennifer, Ali An, who plays Alice, and then Deborah Jo Rupp, who plays Mrs. Hart.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it was a really fun panel. Mrs. Hart, the person who plays Mrs. Hart, was hilarious. Just like, I don't know if they were trying to stay in character or if this is just how funny they are all the time, but their physical comedy throughout the whole panel was just like she would do eye rolling and like nod her head. And it just like her reactions to the questions were very almost in character with what Mrs. Hart would have said. So that was a lot of fun. They talked, one of the questions they asked Jack Schaefer were, tell us about the whole process. And she said that Marvel had asked her to like pitch some things and, ideas for other characters. But every time she'd get to a certain point, Agatha would appear. It'd be like, this is happening. And then Agatha appears. And then finally, Kevin Feige was just like, is it just about Agatha? Should we just make it about Agatha? And I was like, yeah, okay, it's about Agatha. So that was kind of funny. And then they kind of talked about like getting the first call and how they felt about that. Catherine Hahn was like, I would do anything that Jack Schaefer did. So like, not to compare, but like I just kind of got the sense that like she kind of had like that Emily Andress quality about her. Mm-hmm. And they talked about like, just working with people who like, are going to do a great job and not bring the drama and like all that kind of stuff. Everyone just like spoke really highly about each other. And then where'd my notes go? And then they were asking Deborah Jo Rupp, who was, Sharon Hart in the show, how were you when you got the call? She was like, well, when I got the call, they were like, how would you like to be a witch in the Marvelverse? And she was like, oh my God, yeah. And she's like, and then when I showed up, nobody would really look me in the eye for a few days. and then everything started going downhill. And I was like, And it was like, yeah, you're going to meet an unfortunate fate. And, so that was very funny. So a lot of hers was just like her talking about how like, yeah, well, I kind of wished I would have lasted longer. And they asked her, like, they were asking everybody what your favorite costume was. And she was like, well, I didn't really get a lot of outfit changes. I really basically just had one. It was like, is there anyone on the cast, whose character you would have also liked to have played? And she's like, I would have liked to have played any of them. So she was just really funny about the whole thing. And then in the most like amazing part of the whole panel was toward the end. And one of the questions from one of the Paley members that like I guess you can submit a question. The members can do that. Basically, they had said, were there any fan theories? Because she had talked, Jack was talking about how it was so much fun to have the audience just be so on board with it and so passionate about it. And, they'd check Twitter and they had ideas like, what are things that are going to get them talking. And she would be like texting back and forth with the execs, like, are we on track? Like, are we getting the audience like revved up as much as you thought we would? What are people saying? And so they would be checking Twitter and seeing like all the fan responses to things. So it was, they were having a lot of fun with that. And so they were asked, what was any of the theories that you guys thought, oh my gosh, they're almost on to it. And she said there were a couple times when she was like, oh, they're almost on to us. Like,
okay.
Sometimes that like some people were kind of like starting to figure things out and they're like, oh my God. But then Sashir, like immediately, as soon as I said, were there any fan theories that you guys were really excited about? Sashir immediately just like bolted up and she was like, I do, she volunteered right away. And she said she thought it was really cool when, she thinks it's really cool that the fan theory is that Rio is Nicholas's like daddy, like mom.
Yeah.
And the audience went insane. Mm-hmm. And Catherine just like got like, I don't even know how to describe how she got, but her and Jack were sitting next to each other and Catherine just kind of like got all like giddy and like kind of melted into her chair. And Jack was just like totally beaming. And it looked like Catherine was like, because the crowd was going wild, and she was like visibly like she was teary over this fan reaction and the fan theory. And Jack had said that, you know, when it was all going down, they had execs saying, well, who's the dad? Who's the dad?
Mhm.
And they were like, why does it matter? And they kind of like pushed back, and they over time just kept basically refusing to say who's the dad. And then I can't remember exactly what they said. Oh, and then they said, you know, when we cast, and I can't remember who the actor's name is who plays Nicholas, they said that young boy, when he came in, we were like, oh my God, he looks like he could be Aubrey's kid.
Mhm.
And they were like, yep, like that's like one of the reasons they picked him. And so basically the crowd went wild because they totally confirmed, yeah, like, you know, it's
Nicholas is the baby. Of
Yeah.
those two. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
That's awesome. That's
Aubrey's
very cool.
baby daddy. So that was really like, again, that was basically like right toward the end of it, and everyone just like the crowd erupted. It was like a really feel good moment for that to end on. Like they had like one closing thing after that, and then it was like how it was the feeling that like the whole audience left with when we parted. So that was just like, oh my God.
Nice.
Yeah, if you've never been and you have an opportunity to go, it was really cool. I would
So
like
how
to
it
go
works
a
is
lot
like you
more.
pick a kind of like a show or an event. Like each you can pick different things to go to, or
Yeah, it seems like it stretches over a week. Right before we went, there was one for Cobra Kai that was letting out. And then
Okay.
I think like Severance has one and Hacks has one. And if you're
Matlock.
yeah, just like a whole bunch of them. And if you're a member, you get additional perks. None of us were members, but we met a woman in the audience that we like befriended for the night, and she is a member, and she was going to go to the Hacks one, and she gets to go to a backstage like Q&A, like personally with them,
Ooh.
Oh,
like
cool.
a little meet and greet with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Hacks. Yeah, that one's the 28th. Poker
Yeah.
Face, Gilmore Girls, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Gilmore Girls. They
Yeah.
still get a Paley Fest.
Yeah.
Well,
It
it's
happens.
Well, it's
it's
kind of
like
a
a
jolt.
combo.
Amy
of-
Sherman Palladino multiverse.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Fun.
The only one that sold out was Severance.
Oh, cool. I've never been to Paley Fest. I was supposed to go in 2020 to see Mandalorian and Schitt's Creek.
I
think
was
we
going
all-
with you to
Yeah,
Mandalorian.
We all had tickets for that.
Mm-hmm.
And that just went away. But no, so are we getting a season 2, Anne? Did they talk about that at all?
They totally avoided the whole thing. It was asked, and it was like I can't even remember how they pivoted, but
I
there was.
can't. I thought they had kind of said something about it already, but it hasn't been.
Well, I
officially
think-
announced.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think is his name Manifesto or
Mephisto?
no?
I mean,
Wiccan. Wiccan is
Wiccan,
getting
Oh, right.
the boy is getting a movie, right? Or
Or is he going to be in the
Young
Junior-
Avengers or
Young
whatever they're
Avengers?
called. Yeah.
I think they're going off on his story. Is
Okay. I thought Agatha was getting it too. I saw it on Twitter, I'm sure. So who knows?
I think I can't imagine it won't. Come on now.
I don't know,
Okay.
but yeah, it was really good.
How long
So
did
this
it last? Like the 30 minutes that they showed, how long did they talk afterwards?
I want to say it was like 45 minutes. Like it started pretty promptly around 7, and I want to say like we were on Hollywood Boulevard by like 9:30.
Okay.
So
Nice. So it's kind of like a not as nerdy convention of sorts, or a convention panel, something like
Yeah.
that, you know?
I mean, but it's really like it's run really well.
Mhm.
Like the moderators were really like
They don't just
on
plop
it.
them out there and say, go line up and ask questions.
They just didn't have like really tall microphones on both sides of the room.
Oh, we'll get to
randos.
that kind of panel in our next topic.
Speaking of that, was there another convention this weekend that perhaps did have some kind of setup similar to that?
Yeah. What, Strong Women of Sci-Fi?
Oh, wow.
A
Wow, these
nice
are
charity,
visceral reactions.
Was it
convention
strong?
for
I think it was
creation.
just
Or
the
women
women
of
of
sci-fi.
sci-fi.
maybe. They're all
Yeah,
strong.
I'm not saying
Probably
they're
women of
strong.
sci-fi.
Really?
Really
Absolutely.
weak women get their own.
I think they've
convention.
had like a strong women one before, but this may have just been women of sci-fi. I only went on Sunday, but I was texting Anne. I was like, "What's the crowd like?" And she's like, "Embarrassingly small." And then apparently on Sunday it was even smaller than
Oh my God.
Saturday. It was
No.
very
Really?
sparse.
It was weird.
Yeah.
No.
Did they
Um,
have now? This is the same place they had the Xena convention. Did they
Yes.
have the big room open like the same amount as Xena?
No.
Or halfway?
Well, I think it was about the same, but there was no one in it. They could have they could
wow.
have set up
Really?
a tenth of the chairs.
Oh
Yeah.
And
my
been
God.
fine. Like the first panel, so I went on Saturday,
No, Sunday.
Sunday. And the first thing I did was the puppeteer. It was interesting. It had Misty Rosas, I don't know how you say her name, but she plays like Frog Lady and in characters like in The Mask on like
Frog
Mandalorian,
Lady!
Ahsoka, Skeleton
That's
Crew.
so fun.
And then the two women that also do like with the remotes and make the ears go and all the different parts that move. And they did a panel and it was really interesting. And the guy, he was really annoying, the MC, he worked with them. But we were all spread out because I'm like, oh, I can't sit in the VIP section. He's like, everybody just come up close. And if anyone has
Oh,
a
wow.
problem, send them to me.
Jeez.
Well, I mean, you didn't want people spread all over the auditorium.
Yeah.
You know, they want their audience right there because there's nobody there. And
Oh my
but it was
God.
a really good
That's
panel.
embarrassing.
It was very good panel though, and then they were sitting in the vendors room signing and had quite a few people going up to talk to them. And I know
Good.
Noe talked to him on Saturday. Mel, her panel was after that, and she again probably one of the smallest crowds she's talked to because she's used to ERP crowds. But again, it was pretty sparse. She did
What
great.
would you say? Like 50 people?
Were there 50? Maybe for Mel. I didn't really look around, but I feel like
there was maybe more than 50
they
people
were all
there. But
straggled
like
around.
they had the whole room
Yeah.
filled with chairs, and it's like if they would have taken away all, like it was like the 1, 2, 3, probably like 4 columns of chairs, and then all those rows. If they would have taken away those 2 side ones and probably like several back rows
Yeah.
and just made it, they didn't even sell out of the premium seating.
No.
They didn't even sell out of the second tier seating. And so it was really weird because it's like, I don't know, I felt bad because especially it made me mad, first of all, because I was like, it's women of sci-fi and there's barely anyone here. And then it makes it look like nobody cares about women in sci-fi. And it had nothing to do with the talent that they booked because everyone that they had there, their panels were really interesting. And like, I didn't know a lot of these people, but I listened to, almost every panel that was available. And I was like, oh my gosh, this person's really interesting. It's really interesting to hear about their career. And, some of them were quite, much older. So it's like how the things that they talked about that are different now was interesting. But so that it just made me really mad because I feel like it just wasn't marketed or,
No.
I mean, it was just, it's
Not if you didn't go to creation events already and get the emails, I don't think you
Yeah.
ever hear about it.
Right.
So
And if I were a
Yeah.
person who paid like for the premium price, I would have been so mad. And
yeah.
and not necessarily because like, I mean, it was kind of beneficial because I had more access to like Melanie and, some of the other people that I've had in the past. And I mean, for the price that I would pay for dinner and 2 drinks, I had a bunch of opportunities with Melanie and
Yeah.
like
Did you do any photo ops? Like, were you in those rooms? Did you see how busy were maybe because the way they had it set up, you could buy just photo ops and meet and greets and all these things without buying a panel ticket, without buying a general admission ticket. So I'm wondering if those seemed any busier.
No,
Doubt it.
Just in the convention hall, was it
just empty?
barely anyone.
My God.
Yeah. They didn't have the vendors in that lobby area. There's a room off of that lobby area.
Where they had like the
That-
dance, like they'd have things.
It's like just
sing up on
in
there.
like within that area. So not right in the general area. So there's like there were some doors and you went in there. So it was like a tiny vendor area. And that's where they also had all the auto like tables.
so people were just sitting there like
just
I
with
mean-
no one coming up?
Yeah,
Oh my
Adrian
God.
was just sitting there for like it felt like you
No,
were at
Adrian was just sitting there.
Yep. It felt like you were at like an indie author event and they were just like some author who's just like self-published a book just sitting there waiting for people to come by. Melanie was only there Sunday and she did get like
I feel like she did really well. She always had
especially
a line.
after her panel, I
Yeah.
think she got a bunch of people that maybe she didn't necessarily know about her as much.
Right.
Like they had maybe seen her stuff, but they weren't Earpers. I mean, Earper wise, there was maybe at most 15 of us.
Wow.
And there was, maybe 2 to 3 who came from out of state, and the rest were just people that were kind of in the area. Not to say that there weren't people who watched Winona and knew Mel, but like of the people like you would normally see amongst the 500 people we would see at ERP conventions. But there was no way that there was even close to the amount of people that would be at an ERP convention,
Doesn't
which
sound like it.
surprised me because that's a single fandom convention. This is a multi-fandom, very like it's all sci-fi, but like the puppeteers were really interesting.
They
'Cause
were
it's like,
great.
when do you get a chance to hear
Yeah.
about that kind of stuff?
But if nobody knows it's happening,
Yeah.
like Earpers, we know how to reach out to Earpers, right? There's we know where to find everybody, but like if you're not trying to advertise, you're just hoping word of mouth is going to do it. That's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
not great.
And I wonder how if it's a charity thing, if they can kind of write off their losses a little bit easier with
But
this. Like,
Wendy, didn't you say you heard something like on Sunday they had announced that they had already
announced
donated like
something.
$20,000 or
Yeah,
something?
they actually sent out an email. I want to thank those who came to our Salute to Women of Sci-Fi charity event. It says, we are pleased to announce that we are donating $28,000 to the fantasies, charities. I don't work at fantasies. But then they said it may have been a smaller event, but it was special to us and lots of fun was had by guests and attendees alike. We hope everyone enjoyed it as much as we did. I mean, I enjoyed it, but to say it was a smaller con, it was as small of a con as I've ever been to.
I'm like not exaggerating when I say my local library, and I live in like a smaller suburb in the LA area. They do a LibCon busier than this convention.
oh,
Like,
that's
You had big
Really
name. I mean, you
sad.
had Star Trek people. There was
Yeah.
more like you always talk about Star Trek merch. They had
Yeah.
some shirts I hadn't seen before. There was because of the Star Trek guest, there was a fair amount of Star Trek. They had some creation Star Trek related shirts. They did I mean, the vendors, I bought like these little dangly earrings that say Captain Phasma. They're made from like pages of a book and some other little
Cute.
earrings and a
Okay.
cat ring. And
Nice.
so they had some different vendors. They had some that my 2 vendor friends were there. So I bought stuff from them. But it was, and then the panels themselves. So as much as he was annoying, the puppeteer women had an MC. So he kind of
I was wondering. I'm like, who is this guy? Like,
Well,
what
he
is
works
a
with,
man doing here?
He works with Cool Water Productions, who I guess brought them. And they had a nice setup. They had tons of pictures on their table. They were great. And I was going to get autographed, like 3 of them to sign some. And I was like, I just can't spend the money right now. But the panel was wonderful. They brought a little gizmo from Gremlins, little animatronic thing, and showed how they operated them, that they did it for a commercial. And they were very, very interesting. It was a great panel. But I tell
one
you,
of the people like does Grogu. So
Yeah.
Grogu was there.
and so that's why he wears big clothes, because of all the stuff inside him that has to help him move.
All these hands up his back and stuff.
Well, they said they have one now because they showed ones that are connected with wires, but then they also show, like, so they can hold him, that there's other small, I guess, things inside his little outfit. And then, like,
Cute.
Frog Lady, that big old pouch of eggs or whatever on her back, that backpack thing, that's holding the stuff that makes her head move. And it's like 30 pounds.
I
And
love it.
she's tiny. She was a gymnast, so she's very strong. I mean, she looks like a gymnast, but she is tiny, so that's how she plays all these small characters.
Yeah.
But
That's
but
awesome.
so at least they had him, kind of guiding it, and they were wonderful. But then Mel, and luckily, like, someone like Mel is fine. But they literally, this one lady, and she was fine. She would bring the actress out, say, have fun, and then leave. And it's like, either they do their own thing, or all right, they'd start lining up for questions. You just pray that they had enough people want to ask questions.
Oh my God, yeah.
But-
that would be the
But
worst.
the questions
Yeah.
were generally, they
Christ.
were really cringy. I mean, I thought the questions were good. I didn't remember hear anyone ask them, like, oh my gosh, like a Xenocon where you're like, oh, please
Yeah.
don't ask for the elf.
Right.
The questions were fine. And luckily, I mean, I think the only two besides the puppets I saw were Katie Lotz and Mel. But both of them could take a question and just go with it. And Mel,
Yeah.
she
Yes.
could talk, and she was funny, and she was engaging, so she was fine. But I feel like some of the actors, if they didn't have enough people asking questions, and they're just up there by themselves.
Yeah, there were moments of like some silence, and then it seemed like both mics, they had people running both mics.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they were assigned to do this or if these people took it upon themselves, but the people who ran the mics seemed to have their own like list of questions. So when there was nobody else, those same people would then ask a question.
Which that was
Yeah.
good. I'm glad they did
That's
that
smart.
because I noticed that a couple times. And
yeah.
Anne asked a question. I had asked a question.
All right,
Yeah.
let's have it. Let's hear it. What did you ask?
Well, I asked Melanie. And I had already gotten to see Melanie at her table before her panel. And I said, I'm really excited. Obviously I'm a big fan of Winona, but I'm very excited for Revival. And I said, in reading the comic, I was reading it and I could sense a whole lot of Winona in this character. How was it for you? Do you feel like you recognized some Winona characteristics in this character as well? And did you play her similar to Winona? Did you play Dana similar to Winona? Did you feel that you did that? And she said, because Dana's a police officer, and she said there were actually some moments where she was kind of having like flashbacks where she was like, I feel like I did this already. And she said there is a scene in one of the episodes where she's like in a morgue. And she's like, I think I even have a coffee, and like I put the coffee down. Yeah, or like I put the coffee down, and I'm like, wait, I think I just did that exactly like I've done it before. And so she said there were times when she kind of had to like, some of it she leaned into, and then other times she kind of was like, I have to be careful so I'm not just playing this that way.
Yeah.
But I can see, like I said again, but like the way the character reads, there are those similarities. So she's like, yeah, I think if you know to look for it, you'll see that. But there is a difference in this character because where Winona never really wanted to be like the cop, especially when Dolls first comes in, she's like, authority cop. Dana, this character in Revival, very much wants to be a police officer. She wants to do a good job. She like wants to be the law.
Okay.
When does that come out again, Anne? Revival?
Well, when I talked to her at her table, she said they've already done ADR. She said she's very excited about it. She said it sounded really good in ADR. And she said, and it doesn't, when you're doing ADR, you don't always get a feel for how good it is or isn't. And she said, but it already sounded really good in ADR. She was asking when Surreal Estate comes out because she said they were doing it at the same time, like around that same time frame as Surreal Estate. So she's like, it should all be around the same time. But they're both on Sci-Fi. So I don't know if Sci-Fi would run those both at the same season or if they would spread that out, My
Right.
guess, and she had nothing to go off of, my guess is that they'll run Surreal Estate, and then when that season's over, they'll run Revival
Okay.
to stretch their year out that way. But what do I know? I don't know any of that stuff. But when we went to her table for autos, a bunch of us had kind of like been looking at comic stores for Revival comics. And so, first of all, we had all gotten T-shirts. And so Jackie, Noe, and Banana Cat and I had the Canadian Beaver Alliance T-shirts. So it had a big beaver on it, and Melanie was with somebody else, and she looked over and she saw me standing there with this Canadian Alliance T-shirt on, and she like visibly got emotional, and she said, "Oh my God, I love that. Thank you so much." And then when we talked, she was like getting teary, and she's like, "You don't know how much that means." She's like, "Things are really weird." And I said, "We're on your side. Like, we don't like it either. Like, we don't want any of this. Please take us with you. We promise we'll behave. I can get real tiny in a suitcase." So that was really sweet. And then as I'm talking to her, she's reaching down, like she's all like crouched down on the table. And I'm thinking, I was just about to say like some wisecrack with her because it was almost like she was like playing with her shoe or something, like she was itching her foot or something. And all of a sudden she reaches over and she hands me this barrel of Canadian maple syrup.
Whoa!
And she
Wow.
looks around and she goes, "You have to share this." And here, she said, "Put this in your coffee and you'll have a true Canadian coffee."
Oh, that's so cute.
So it was just very sweet. We had, several touching moments with her, had a lot of fun. And then we did a group photo with her later on in the photo room as well. So
That's so
yeah,
cute.
it was nice to just kind of check in and see her. But yeah, she handled that panel like,
She's a pro.
like a
pro.
champ.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not,
Oh yeah,
I'm not surprised.
and
I'm
she
not
was,
surprised.
typical Mel. She said a few things, and she was like, "I don't know, can I say that? Too bad we're going there," Yeah, so that was fun. Oh, she was wearing all day. She was wearing the boots from Vengeance, her black leather boots from Vengeance. So that was pretty fun.
That's fun.
She talked about Letterkenny. She talked about Winona. There were questions for that. But yeah.
I
It was
also
really
got to meet, I know I met her last year at San Diego Comic Con, but that was all nerve wracking and we were doing the press thing and you have to ask us a hard question. So I, like I said, I met with my little vendor friends and one of them was selling the Winona Pops. So I got one because I was buying something for $6 and I didn't want to just throw a credit card for $6. So I got something else from her table. I was like, I'll get the Winona Pop. I don't have it. And then I was in line with them to getting their Winona autographs and from Mel. And I thought, well, I might as well just get this signed. And luckily, Noe had $50 in cash to loan me because I had no cash. And so I finally talked to Mel and got her to sign my little pop. And most unexpected conversation. I got up there and I was just saying, "Oh, I met you last year in the press room with our podcast at San Diego Comic Con." She's like, and she was looking at my shirt. And so, Women of Sci-Fi, I wore one of my Root and Shaw shirts. It says "Maybe Someday," but it's got some guns and whatever. And she's looking at it, it's like, "That looks familiar." I'm like, well, I figured it looks like a Winona shirt someone had made with some guns or whatever. I'm like, oh, it's actually from a different show. She's like, yeah, but she seems familiar. And I was like, well, it's from Person of Interest. She said, oh, friend of mine directed on that show. And I asked who it was. She said it was Chris Fisher. And I was like, he was he did most of the best episodes of
cool.
Person of Interest. And she's like, yeah, he directed me in Warehouse 13, which I didn't find. When was she in that? Because I didn't see it. But anyway, she said something about him directing Warehouse 13, but said he was a really nice guy. I was like, that's the impression I had. And she's like, oh, it's good to meet you. So, and then that was that. Randomly, I talked about Chris Fisher with Melanie. But then later everybody had gone back to say goodbye before we were leaving. And she was hugging everybody, but then she didn't hug me. And then she was kind of like, are you with them? I'm like, yeah, because I was the only one without the Beaver Canada shirt. And she's like, oh, you're wearing a different shirt. Well, here. So she gives me
Aw.
She didn't know that I was with them, but I was glad to be with them because I think she probably thinks y'all are pretty cool. And I was like, I'm with them. I'm one of them. So, but yeah, so I got my male hug. And then
Nice.
Jackie, she's like, yeah, she's with the She Nerds Out podcast. You should be on the podcast. You could be on the podcast. She starts pitching Snop. And I was like, and Jackie is our producer. And she thought that was funny.
Producer
So that was it.
Jackie.
Yeah,
Producer
Jackie wanted
Jackie. Always
everybody to
working.
know. She was trying. She was
She
working the angles.
was. She was.
She's always working.
She yeah, so some of the other this convention had 28 guests.
Insane.
And one of them, I think, Mary McDonald was one of them who ended up not coming. So there
Right.
ended up being 27, but 27 guests. And it was like not an expensive thing, but a huge lineup of guests, right?
Mhm.
First day, I went to a panel, and many of them I hadn't heard of because I don't know a lot of, some of the older sci-fi and stuff. But it was a woman named Sandy Gimple, and she's 85 years old. I never would have guessed it. I only know because I looked her up, and she has 206 credits to her name. She's a stunt woman.
Oh, cool. Get out.
Not only that, but she's like still, I don't know if she's still working, but her latest credit is from 2023.
Wow.
Okay.
So like she's still doing shit. She has been in like Lucifer, Walking Dead, like just a ton of stuff. Her page is filled with stuff. Then my second panel I saw was Denise Richards. And she got up there and I looked over at my friend Katie and I'm like, isn't she a real housewife? And so we're looking her up and we're like, oh yeah, but she's been in a ton. Like I was just remembering her from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's been in a ton of stuff. So like Wild Things, which is like cult classic, right? With Nev Campbell, Starship Troopers. She's been a Bond girl.
Wow.
So yeah, she was a Bond girl in 1999. She was, in what was that one? Fuck, now I'm forgetting. Charlie Sheen. She was married to Charlie Sheen, and then whatever that show he had for a long time, she was in that too.
Charlie
The
Sheen?
Men, 2.5 Men.
Yes, 2.5 Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was married to Charlie Sheen for a while.
Okay.
But again, she was super fun. She's like in her 50s.
She has been in everything.
Everything. Like a gazillion things.
True Lies, Airplane, Battlestar Galactica, the original.
She's been working a long time.
6 Feet Under. Incredible.
So it was kind of fun because almost all of these people have like a huge roster of things that they've done. So when people would come up, you didn't know what they were going to ask about. Like they would pull from like this whole they had years to pull from, catalog of things to ask about. So that was interesting. Then I saw Gigi Edgley. She's Australian. She was fun, interesting. She's been in like Farscape and Star Trek, a lot of Star Trek people. One of the people I really liked was Claudia Christian.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
She's very attractive. And she was in Babylon 5. She's been in like 911. She does a lot of voiceover work for video games.
Fun.
So like one person got up there and was just like, can you just say this phrase in so-and-so's voice? And she laughed and she said it. And she's like, thank you. And so yeah, she was interesting. And she talks about like somebody had asked her about like certain scenes and intimacy coordinators. And it was just interesting because she's, talked about like some show that she worked on back in the day, and they wanted everyone to sign like a sexual harassment, like a conduct contract. And she said everyone on the show refused to sign it. And they were like, if we can't like make jokes with each other and like, slap each other on the ass every now and then, like, where's the fun in that? So it was just so fascinating.
It's a very different time.
Right?
Yep.
To see like how everything has progressed and just like, some of these people are still of the older school of thought.
Yeah.
Because somebody else, I don't know if it's in my notes and it'll come up later, but somebody else had talked about like intimacy coordinators and how like they would just rather not. Oh, it was Trisha Helfer and Rika Sharma. They talked about like they didn't like, Trisha did. She said it ends up taking scenes that would maybe be 15 minutes of work and makes it 2 hours of work. And they said, I'd rather just talk with my partner, talk with the people who are on the set and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, that's good if you're the kind of person who feels comfortable enough to be able to do that.
Yeah,
but it's
right.
in place for people who don't have the voice. And it's like, I feel like it's one of those things that just should be in place because
It's an option.
Right.
Well, because like a newer person or someone is like, you don't want to look like the asshole who asked for one. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if it's just
100%.
like, yeah, it's there for everyone. So that was interesting. And she had talked about her time in Battlestar Galactica, which I've never watched. But again, like I might go watch some of these based on some of these panels. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I kind of want to watch it. And somebody asked about the goo that they are submerged in.
Yep.
And she was like, well, what nobody really thinks about with the goo is like, they worked out a lot of kinks, like with temperature. And she's like, we would lay on like warm packs underneath us. There were like heating packs under us. She said, but you would go into the goo and then other people would go into the goo for their scene. And they didn't change the goo.
Oh, that's
So
not
she's like, you
good.
could be like the sixth person to get it. You wanted to be the first person to be in the goo. And she said it was very spoogey. It was very
Bougie.
it's like
not
very
a great
Bougie.
yeah,
word.
spoogey.
No.
And so that was kind of interesting. And she had like, gone in detail about like, and when you get out of the goo, like they just like scraped you off with their hands and like scooped all the
disgusting.
extra off. Yeah. And then who else did I see? Oh, Katie Lotz. She was cool. I've never met her. I've seen some of her shows because I did see her in, Legends of Tomorrow. I watched a little bit about of those shows, and some of the crossover shows with when I was watching Supergirl. But we were waiting to talk to Mel, and we were just standing in front of Katie's. Katie's table was right next to Mel's table. So we were just standing at Katie's table looking at what pictures she had available and just like, kind of oogling some of her photos. Like, ooh, look at that photo. I would pick that photo. And all of a sudden she comes up. She wasn't there. She comes up behind us. We had no idea she was coming. And she like whispers over our shoulder. She's like, ugh. I heard that chick's a real bitch. And we turn, and it's Katie Lotz, and we all just start laughing. And she's like, hey, I have a panel in 2 minutes. Why are you standing here? And we're like, we know. We just wanted to say something to Mel quick. So walk slow. But yeah, she was a lot of fun. I don't know. I was like, she's basically like a blonde Melanie Scrofano. Like,
really?
She gave me that same kind of Melanie energy. And she talked about just like, somebody had asked her about her martial arts training because she did a lot of her own stunts in the show. And she's big into martial arts. Like she's been doing martial arts since like she was young. She just had like, she did, did funny stories about being in the biz and all that stuff. But yeah, she was another one who could like really, you can tell she can hold her own if nobody's asking questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
she
fun.
did fine.
Yeah. But yeah, it was, oh, and then they did like this auction, and this really pissed me off too.
Oh, no.
Because, well, first of all, like the vendor room was like, there wasn't a lot of vendors. And then throughout like the whole convention, there were maybe like 3 to 4 people, mostly guys, who had dollies, like the rolling, like you use for moving and stuff, with giant posters and like collectibles on them and totes of, I'm assuming, other collectibles. And they basically just used this weekend as like an autograph grab.
Jesus.
So they just had all of this stuff that they went through, and it was fairly inexpensive because I don't know how many people knew, but they put the autos on sale for 50% off last weekend. So you could get autographs for $25 instead of $50 for all the people. So they just carted the stuff around, getting it signed by like whoever, Star Trek stuff, whatever. And then they had this auction later on to raise more money. So they had all these objects for this auction. And there were collectors in the audience that were just grabbing up it was like it was very predatory and like icky. It just felt gross. Like, they're just grabbing this stuff. They're not like, here as a fan. Yeah. They're just going to sell this later. Like some people were on the phone with other like, people like, should I buy it for this much? Should I buy it for this much? So it just, I don't know, that part of it, I was just like, this is just gross.
I'm glad I missed that part.
Yeah, it really took me off.
Yeah, that sounds gross.
Yeah.
Glad it was fun overall, I guess. Good experience.
I mean, it's a great, it was great to see Mel, and it's like, we had fun either way because we're hanging out with each other. So I would definitely do it again. It just,
if there was someone that you wanted to meet of those people, this was the time because you probably could have just hung out with them and chatted. And did you go see Eliza Taylor from the 100? Did you see her panel? I think it was on Sunday, but I remember thinking it was such a small crowd, and I don't know what conventions she's done, but I just kept thinking, boy, if you just come to Klexicon when that thing started, it literally was named after Klexa. Like you would have been mobbed, but here you are at this little tiny con, and not really anybody here. I never actually saw her. I saw her table, but it was fun. But yeah, this was, like I said, if you wanted to meet one of these people and actually have the time to talk to them, you had all the time in the world. Well,
and they moved about as though they were just normal people too. Like there wasn't a handler rushing Katie Lotz through back rooms. Like she snuck up behind us and was like, "Oh, that hurts a little bit."
And again, there's times at Klexicon where there's no way that would happen with Katie Lotz. Like you can have her
she
be
was
alone.
in big demand. Back in the day at Klexicon.
Sneaker in the back or something.
Like I was talking, we were all looking at a vendor's thing and just chatting. And like Melanie just walked right behind us. It was just like, it wasn't, which I don't know what that difference is, but I was like, this would have never happened at an UrbCon. Like 12 people would have made sure like nobody was looking at her when she walked by. So that was nice. But yeah, it was, I wish they would have had more people. Like, I felt bad for them at the panels because it's like you looked out and it wasn't that there's like no one there, but it was so spread out.
Yeah.
Like, does anyone love me? Like, but it was just, it just wasn't run. I don't know. It wasn't advertised.
We sat on the front row for Katie Lotz.
Yeah.
And we sat pretty close. Like we sat in the gold or silver seats the whole, like every panel I went to. Because they didn't sell enough. Even that day when I was looking at tickets online, it said 67 seats remaining, 17, 40,
well, and
in different sections.
Yeah, and you wonder too, like the people who did buy those, by the time Sunday rolled around, it's like, where'd they go?
Yeah,
like, did they bought the premium pass for like, because the way they do the premium passes, I don't know if it's like this for Xena or whatever too, but it's like you got these other autos thrown in for free.
Right.
And so it's like, I don't know if they bought that just to get that and then they did that and didn't come to the panels, or I don't know.
Weird.
It's
Could
just
be.
all really weird.
Could be. But, enjoyed it.
It was a great one to go to again, to just like be able to have access. And it didn't feel stuffy and rushed or anything like that.
Right.
And all the people, like, I didn't hear any of the guests complaining, so maybe that,
they get paid.
Yeah.
Whatever they're going to get paid.
Either way. Yeah. Exactly.
Like, Noe had a great conversation with the puppeteers. Like, I made her wear a sash on Saturday that said birthday queen. So she got a lot of people saying happy birthday. But she was at the puppeteer table for quite some time, and they seemed to be like a hoot.
Oh, yeah, they were
Just,
fun.
like, really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, they were great.
So,
Good times.
Well, there you have it. I think that's it. I think we did it.
Yeah.
Against all odds, we did it.
All right. Well, we're on the Twitter for reals. We're on the Twitter. We've got turn into Christopher Walken. We've got a social media coordinator. That's Not Podcast with 1D on the Twitter, and Blue Sky at She Nerds Out.
And Facebook and Instagram at She Nerds Out Podcast.
You can send us an email at shenerdsout@gmail.com. Go to our website at shenerdsout.com. You can leave us an anonymous voicemail. You can send us a message. You can buy us a beer. Look at our merch. It's one stop snopping.
and if you want to send some old-fashioned snail mail, you can send it to Snop, P.O. Box 6732, Burbank, California, 91510. I can't wait to hear about Reita.
We'll let you know.
Anne,
Stay
thanks for
tuned.
coming. Thanks for joining us, Anne.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Anne. All right. Till next time, assuming we survive brunch, she nerds
Out.
She nerds out. We're girls that like nerdy things.